Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Parker, Colorado at Double Angel Field as the Larks get set for their 21st game of the season, looking to bounce back after suffering a tough loss last night against the Colorado Rough Riders. They will take on the Gameday Angels for the first of 2 games of the series down here in Colorado. We won't have a pregame show tonight. Just wanted to hop on and let everybody know we're 5 minutes away from first pitch as the Larks look to bounce back, and the Angels will look for their first winning streak since the start of the season. We will have first pitch for you in 4 minutes here on the Larks Network. We are set to go down in Parker, Colorado, as the Larks look to get a bounce-back win over the Gameday Angels, who come into this game 8-9 on the year, and have gone 3-3 ever since they played the Larks in that 4-game series a couple weeks ago. As we get set to get things underway, the starter on the mound tonight for the Gameday Angels will be number 9, Chance Carthers. The junior from Rock Island, Illinois, makes his 4th appearance and start of the season. He will first face off against Caleb Duncan. The first pitch on the way is a fly ball, and this one's going to land in front of the left fielder, Grant Biggins. And on the first pitch of the game, Caleb Duncan gets a leadoff hit. Saw it on the inside, was able to make contact with it, and now out to bat for the Larks is Lane Sparks.
Now batting, the right fielder, number 8.
First pitch for tonight's game comes at 6:08 p.m., which is 7:08 back in Hayes. 85 degrees at first pitch, mostly cloudy in the area with 14-mile-per-hour winds, and because of the clouds, it currently feels like 80 degrees rather than 85. First pitch to Lane Sparks is called strike 1. The rest of the Larks order will look like this. Trent Baker is going to be on deck batting 3rd. Jackson Babcock batting 4th tonight. Garrett Gruhl will be the designated hitter tonight batting 5th. After that, Dylan LaRue will be the catcher at batting 6th in the order. Thomas Lissy is the 7th. And rounding out the final 2 batters in the order are Tabor Stokes and C.J. Reed. And we are having some issues with our scoreboard right now. We'll try to fix that as the game goes on. But right now the count is 0-2 with a runner on first base for the Larks. Carthers delivers the pitch, and it misses outside for ball number 1. Here's the defensive alignment tonight for the Gameday Angels. In left field is number 13, Grant Biggins. In center field is number 25, James Harbison. And next to him is number 30, Kyle Hubert. We'll take a look at the infield in just a moment. 1-2 on the way from Carthers. Sparks takes a swing at it, and this one's going to fly out of play. It actually stayed in, but the third baseman, Tiedemann, was unable to track it down. So here's the Angels infield. We just said Tyler Tiedemann is the third baseman tonight. The shortstop is number 12, Issei Santaella. Second baseman is number 17, Cliff Goldie, and the first baseman is number 15, Tyler Genrich. And a base hit here by Lane Sparks is going to move Caleb Duncan over to third base. And the first 2 batters for the Larks are going to occupy the corners. Just the start the Larks needed as Trent Baker is now up to bat.
Number 2, Trent Baker.
Back in the lineup tonight after being the starting pitcher for the first 5 innings in last night's game against the Colorado Rough Riders. Baker had a very solid performance. 9 strikeouts in the game and only holding the Rough Riders to 4 runs. This one, a line drive, goes off the pole near the Larks dugout. And the count starts off 0-1. Baker enters this game with a .294 average and has 7 multi-hit games. He's looking for a home run tonight here. He's hit one in the last 3 games where he's been in the lineup. That one goes inside. And a stolen base attempt here for Sparks. It gets away from the shortstop. He will throw back home, and Caleb Duncan slides in safely for the first run of tonight's game. Two stolen bases for the Larks, both successful, and one brings home a run. So the count now 1-1 to Trent Baker. Again, we're having some issues with our scoreboard right now. We're going to try to fix that as the game goes on. Carthers delivers the next pitch, and this one goes foul down the first base line. Moves the count to 1-2 to Trent Baker. With his recent performances, Baker's jumped up to a .544 slugging percentage on the season. Still the Larks leader in RBIs with 28. Trying to bring Lane Sparks home from second. This one will go right into the glove of the first baseman for out number 1. Now up to bat for the Larks.
Now batting.
4th in the order is Jackson Babcock.
5, Jackson Babcock.
Coming off the game last night where he went a perfect 5 for 5. 4 base hits and a double, and also 3 runs scored. He'll leave the first pitch down low for ball number 1. Babcock's recent performances, he's had 10 RBIs and 9 runs in the last 5 games. We're going to get time called right here as the catcher for tonight for the Angels, David Brab, goes up to the mound to have a short meeting with his pitcher, Chance Carthers, the junior from Augustana College. Played in 21 games and made 20 starts in 2 seasons. And before that, he played 1 season at Carthage College. So it's a 1-0 count to Jackson Babcock as Brab goes back behind home plate. Carthers looks back at second base a second time, delivers. This one will get away from the catcher, but Sparks is going to stay put over at second base. Two and 0 with 1 away. We've already seen Lane Sparks steal 1 base tonight. With that play, they were able to bring home Caleb Duncan for the first run. Next one fouled out of play for the first strike. On deck for the Larks is the designated hitter, Garrett Gruhl. Dylan LaRue, batting 6th in the order, is in the hole. Babcock leaves the next pitch on the outside, count now 3-1. He had 1 walk in last night's game. He's been walked in 11 of his last 13 games and has 16 walks total in that stretch. Carthers delivers, and it's down and inside for ball number 4, and Jackson Babcock heads down to first base.
Now batting, the designated hitter, number 22, Garrett.
That's now 7 straight plate appearances for Jackson Babcock where he's gotten on base as Garrett Gruhl comes up to the plate next for the Larks. 1 for 4 in last night's game, but got on base a total of 3 times. That one finds the low part of the zone for strike 1 to Garrett Gruhl. This is Gruhl's 7th game of the season, and this right here is his 31st plate appearance of the year. Sparks thought about going from second to third. He holds back. There is ball number 1 to Garrett Gruhl. Catcher Brab wants it low and outside. That is where it goes. And it finds the low corner of the zone for strike number 2. So Gruhl will have to fight back right here. There's just 1 out, pitch on the way. This one will be fouled out of play. Count stays at 1-2. Brab again wants it on the outside. This time it hits the dirt for ball number 2. With this being Gruhl's 7th game of the season, he enters this game as the Larks leader in average and on-base percentage. .429 in 21 at-bats. And a .600 on-base percentage and 30 plate appearances. 2-2 on the way from Carthers. Gruhl puts a ground ball past the shortstop, Santaella. And they're going to tell Sparks to hold back over at third base. Thought about going home, but he will stay put, and with 1 out, the bases are loaded for the Larks. Third hit of the game for the Larks here in the first inning.
The catcher, number 26.
As Dylan LaRue comes up to bat next.
LaRue.
19 RBIs for him on the season as he tries to bring some runs home right here. He has 6 hits and 6 RBIs in the last 3 games as well. Left on the outside for ball number 1 to LaRue. He had a single and a run scored in last night's game. Working with the bases loaded. Lane Sparks is at third. Jackson Babcock at second. Over at first base is Garrett Gruhl. And this one a deep hit into left field. Going back for it is Biggins. This one's going to bounce off the wall. Sparks will score. Getting the windmill from second is Jackson Babcock. And they will tell Garrett Gruhl to stay put at third base. A 2 RBI double for Dylan LaRue. RBI 20 and 21 on the year, and the Larks take a 3-0 lead. And already we're going to see a mound meeting here for the Angels. So we'll step away for just a moment as they talk things over.
Now batting.
So the Angels coach goes back to the back to the dugout
Thomas Lissy.
as they look to get the second out of the inning, with Thomas Lissy up to bat next. First pitch to Lissy from Carruthers, slides into the zone for strike number 1. He's got 2 runners in scoring position, has 3 games on the year with multiple RBIs. Count now 0-2 as he fouls that one off. He had an RBI in last night's game where he had a sac fly to center field to bring home a run for Garrett Gruhl. Right now he's working with him over at third for a chance to do it again. Carruthers ahead 0-2, and that one's left outside for the first ball. Carruthers enters this game with 18 hits and 14 earned runs allowed on the year. He has 10 strikeouts and a .327 opponent batting average. Lissy takes a swing at this one. It's a hard ground ball over to Issei Santaella, the shortstop. Takes one bounce, and they're going to say that he's safe. He slid off the bag. Tyler Jenrich had to reach out a little bit to try to make the catch, but too far off the bag. And with the air, Thomas Lissy is on base. And he's got the RBI with Garrett Gruhl crossing the plate and Dylan LaRue standing over at third. We're now going to see a discussion here for the umpires. The call is going to stand. And after the Larks got the first out of this inning, they've gotten their last 4 batters on base. Looking to make it 5 right here with the 8th batter in the order, Tabor Stokes. Stokes leaves the first pitch down low for strike number 1. Got on base twice and scored twice last night. One was an RBI single, the other was a double. Overall, last night, Stokes went 2 for 5. Swing and a miss, and we're going to see a successful stolen base here for Thomas Lissy, moving over to second. Just his 6th of the season. But now Stokes has to fight back here on a 0-2 count. breaking ball swung on by Tabor Stokes, headed towards the left center gap, and the left fielder couldn't field it right away. Dylan LaRue is in, and Thomas Lissy is in as well. 2 more runs for the Larks, and already in the first inning they have a 6-0 lead.
Now batting the second baseman, number 1, C.J. Reed.
C.J. Reed up next to bat for the Larks. The final batter in the order with only 1 out. First pitch, and it's fouled off as Tabor Stokes tried stealing second. He will have to head back. So it's an 0-1 count with 1 away. I apologize for not answering this question in the live chat. Sorry for the delayed response, but the standings for the RMBL are available in Game Changer, but they are a little bit inaccurate because some teams don't report if their game is non-league or RMBL. So all we have is that the Larks are first at 11-4 in league play. The count is 0-2 to Reed, with just 1 out, and his college teammate Tabor Stokes over at first base. And this one's going to bounce away from the catcher Brab, and a pass ball will give Tabor Stokes the opportunity to take second. One and two the count now for Reed, coming off a very successful game. 3 for 5 with all of his hits going for extra bases. 1 triple, 2 doubles. He'll hit this one a line drive into center field. It's going to land in front of Harbison. And the Larks will have runners at the corners once again as they go back to the top of their order with Caleb Duncan up next. So we'll see what Duncan does right here as the Larks have the 6-0 lead. Just 1 out in the top of the first.
Caleb Duncan.
Duncan had a single on the first pitch of tonight's game. Scored by stealing home because of a throw down to second base. He was able to get the time to slide in safely at the plate. He'll begin 0-1 against Chance Carruthers. So the Larks already doing a great job so far. They're trying to break a trend tonight for the Gameday Angels, who entered this game with a loss-win pattern in their last 7 games, and they lost last night to the Denver Cougars, so the Larks looking to make it 2 losses in a row tonight. 1-1 to Duncan. He hits a ground ball over to the second baseman, and he throws down to Jenrich at first base. There is the second out, but Tabor Stokes scores from third, and the Larks have their 7th run of the game.
Now batting the right fielder.
C.J. Reed is the lone runner over at second base.
Sparks.
Lane Sparks an out to bat for the Larks. He had a single on a 1-2 count in his first appearance. And he also stole second. That was the play that got Caleb Duncan home for the first run of the game. He'll hit this one high in the air, deep into center field. Going back for it is Harbison. This one takes a bounce off the wall. And Sparks will stay put at first base, but C.J. Reed scores all the way from second. And the Larks already out to an 8-0 lead.
Now batting the left fielder, number 2, Trent Baker.
Trent Baker now up with 2 outs. Runner over at first base is Lane Sparks. Baker watches the first pitch go by for strike number 1. Again, seeing that the catcher wants it low and outside, it goes there. And there is ball number 1 to Trent Baker. He was faced with a 1-2 count in his first appearance at the plate. This one a 1-1. It's going to be a ground ball to the shortstop, and a fielder's choice will lead to out number 3. But what a start for the Larks. They put up 8 runs in the first inning, and Nolan Wilson will take the mound when we come back. The Larks could not have asked for a better start to tonight's game. In the top of the first inning alone, they score 8 runs on 7 hits. The Angels committed 1 error, and no runners were left stranded. 8 of the Larks' 9 batters crossed the plate in their first time around. And now in the bottom of the first inning, we'll see Nolan Wilson take the plate for the 4th time this season in his 3rd start. Lowest ERA and opponent batting average for the Larks this season, and the first batter he's going to face is the left fielder Grant Biggins. First pitch left down low for ball number 1. We've taken the scoreboard off the screen because it's still having issues tonight. Going to try to fix it again as the game goes on, but right now the Larks are ahead 8-0. And this one a hit into center field, and it's going to land as Caleb Duncan runs over to pick it up. Grant Biggins has the leadoff hit for the Gameday Angels. Next up in line is the shortstop, Issei Santaella. Here is the rest of the order for the Gameday Angels. After Santaella, it's the center fielder James Harbison batting 3rd. 4th is number 15, Tyler Ginrich. In the middle of the order is number 7, David Brab. Batting 6th is the designated hitter, Owen Best. And the final 3 batters in the order for the Angels are Kyle Hubert, Cliff Goldie, and Tyler Tiedemann. The 0-1 on the way from Wilson. Misses on the outside, swing and a miss by Santaella. Santaella playing in his 17th game of the season. Is a native of Parker, Colorado that just graduated from Ponderosa High School. The count is now 1-2 to the shortstop. This next season he will be playing at Seward County Community College. Played in 24 games this season at Ponderosa High School. We got a .439 average, 34 runs, and 36 hits. And he's really improved over these last few games. When he entered the series down in Larks Park, he only had 3 hits at the start of it. He enters tonight's game with a .279 RBI, or .279 average. Half-hearted swing on a 2-2 count, and Nolan Wilson has his first strikeout of tonight's game.
Now batting the center fielder, number 25, James.
With a 1 away, the next batter up for the Angels is number 25, James Harbison. Another player for the Angels from right here in Parker, Colorado. The Angels have 19 players on their roster of their 24 from Colorado. Thomas Lissy, a ground ball right here. He fields it, bobbled it a little bit, looked at second, then threw to first, and there's 2 away.
Now making his way to the plate.
Lissy was able to rebound to get the second out, and now at the bat is the first baseman, Tyler Genrich. Sophomore infielder from UC Colorado Springs. Played in 14 games this season after redshirting in 2024. Looking to keep the inning alive as we're 25 minutes in. This is the first ballpark we've been at that has the game time on the scoreboard. Tabor Stokes fields the ground ball. On the run, he throws it over to Jackson Babcock, and there is out number 3. Grant Biggins had the leadoff hit for the Gameday Angels, but he is going to remain stranded at second as 3 outs follow after that. We go now to the top of the second inning as the Larks went through brought up 12 batters to the plate in the first inning. It'll be the middle part of their order with Jackson Babcock, Garrett Gruhl, and Dylan LaRue up next. Starting the top of the second inning, Jackson Babcock leads things off for the Larks. Facing off against the starter Chance Carthers, who gave up 8 runs and 7 hits in that first inning. In just the second inning, Babcock is the 16th batter to come up to the plate for the Larks tonight. He was walked on a 3-1 count in his first appearance, and he will start ahead in the count 1-0 as the first pitch misses on the inside. This time Brab wants it on the inside, facing against the left-handed batter. This one goes off the glove of the first baseman, Genrich. And with the air, Babcock is on first base, thought about going to second. But the Angels able to retrieve it. That's Cliff Goldie that ran after it, the second baseman.
Now batting the designated hitter, number 22.
Second error of the game for the Angels. And Garrett Gruhl now at the bat for the Larks. He had a double in last night's game, a single in his first appearance tonight. And is the Larks leader in batting average, looking to get another hit right here. That one bounces in the dirt for ball number 1. Babcock takes a lead over at first base. Saw him take some big leads in last night's game. Still haven't seen him try to attempt to steal yet this season. Maybe tonight will be the change. It's a 2-0 count to Garrett Gruhl as the Larks hold on to the 8-0 lead. On deck is Dylan LaRue, Thomas Lissy in the hole. The 2-0 pitch from Carthers is going to be ball number 3. Babcock slides back safely. Again, another ball goes off the glove of Ginrich. And Gruhl is 1 ball away from walking. Something that he's done 7 times in his first 6 games. The pitch up high and outside, and on 4 balls, it's a walk for Garrett Gruhl.
Now batting.
Dylan LaRue up next, working with 2 runners on.
6, Dylan LaRue.
He had a 2 RBI double in his first appearance. He now has 8 RBIs in his last 4 games. This one's hit high into the air, back deep into left field. Going back for it is Grant Biggins. He is at the wall, and it goes over the scoreboard in left field. It is gone. Dylan LaRue, his 5th home run of the season, and he is the lone leader for the Larks in the home run category now. It's an 11-0 Larks lead in just the 2nd inning.
Now batting, the third baseman, number 15, Thomas Lissy.
Thomas Lissy, the next batter up for the Larks after they take an 11-0 lead. We'll see how much longer the Angels decide to keep Chance Carthers in the game. We saw this a couple games ago for the Larks when they played against the Dodge City A's. It wasn't until they jumped out to the 15-1 lead that they decided to make their first change on the mound. Right now, the score 11-0 and the count 2-0 to Thomas Lissy. Lissy has to dodge out of the way a little bit. That is ball 3 on the inside part of the plate. As he looks to find the zone, all 3 outs in the first inning for the Angels against the Larks were balls that were put in play. And there he gets the first strike to Lissy. He'll take a swing at the next pitch. And it makes the count full as it goes over the press box behind us. This one goes foul into the netting. This will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat up next. Going down the middle, it's fouled back once again. Thomas Lissy staying alive, looking to get his first hit of tonight's game. His first one, or the first time he got on base, was from an error on a 1-2 count where he also brought home a run. This time he's working with empty bases after the 3-run home run for Dylan LaRue. In that game against Dodge City where the Larks won 20-2, we saw 2 home runs from LaRue. This one fouled back once again. After the count got to 3-2, that's now 3 foul balls for Thomas Lissy. Showing some fight early on. And that one just misses the zone. The 9th pitch of the at-bat is what gets Thomas Lissy on base. And Tabor Stokes will be up next for the Larks. And now it looks like we might see a change on the mound here for the Gameday Angels. Either way, we will step away as they talk things over. After facing just 16 batters and going only one full inning of work, Chance Carr Thursday comes to an end in his fourth start of the season as the Angels make a call to the bullpen to try to get the first out here in the second inning, trailing the Larks 11-0. The call to the bullpen is made for the freshman from right here in Parker, Christian Clare. He was a redshirt this last season at UC Colorado Springs, and this is his 5th appearance of the season, 3rd as a relief pitcher. He will face off against Tabor Stokes as the first pitch is on the way. Stokes fouls this one back into the net for strike one. Clare enters this game with the lowest opponent batting average for the Angels, right at 200. 3.68 ERA on the year and 8 strikeouts through 7 1/3 innings of work so far this season. The pitch on the way. Catches the low inside part of the plate, and now Stokes down 0-2. We'll see if he can get on base right here. He was faced with 0-2 in his last appearance. He was able to bring home 2 RBIs with a single. Looking to get the first out. Not just yet. That one takes a bounce, and there's ball 1. Larks have scored 3 runs so far this inning. They have a runner at first base, which is Thomas Lissy. Was faced with a full count, hit 3 foul balls, and then was walked after 9 pitches in his at-bat. Stokes take a hard swing at this one, deep into left center field. Biggins and Harbison will both run back for it, and it lands in someone's backyard deep into the outfield, and it is gone. The second home run of the inning for the Hayes Larks. This time it's a 2-run home run from Tabor Stokes, and they have the 13-0 lead on the Angels. The Larks have shown already they know how to respond after a tough loss, as C.J. Reed will come up to the plate for the second time tonight. First pitch goes outside for an 0-1 count now to C.J. Reed. Next pitch is left outside, making the count 1-1. Reed will look for his 6th multi-hit game of the season right here after singling in the first inning. He's now got a hit in 14 of the 20 games that he's appeared in. Fouls the next one off to make the count 1-2. Reed steps back into the box. Looking to improve his batting average tonight after already one hit so far. Entered with a 3-0-2. And now on a 1-2 count, he will let that one go by to make the count 2-2. This one goes over the head of the catcher as Claire delivered it. That makes the count 3-2. Second Larks batter this inning to work against a full count. Thomas Lissy was the other one, which he was walked after 9 pitches in his appearance. Angels still looking for the first out. This one's drilled foul by C.J. Reed. This will be the 7th pitch of the at-bat right here. Christian Clare looks to win the battle. And he leaves that one outside, and there's ball number 4. In just the second inning, the Larks are back to the top of their order for the 3rd time with Caleb Duncan up to the plate.
Center fielder, number 12, Caleb Duncan.
1 for 2 so far for Duncan. He had a single in his first appearance and a run scored. The next one was a ground out to the second baseman, but on that play, he was able to bring home a run for the Larks. They'll throw back to first base. C.J. Reed slides back safely. Reed takes a large lead over at first base. Jenrich covers the base. And there is ball number 1 to Caleb Duncan. Duncan is now hit in 8 of his last 10 games. Looking to get his 5th multi-hit game right here, along with the single that he has so far. He'll hit this one, a line drive going into the corner in left field. It bounces off the wall, and Biggins still has to track it down. They're going to tell C.J. Reed to hold up at third, and Caleb Duncan will occupy second base. The Larks will now bring up their 8th batter to the plate in this inning.
Now batting.
As the Angels still look for the first out.
Number 8, Lane Sparks.
They've scored 5 runs this inning. The Larks hold a 13-0 lead. Again, we apologize for our scoreboard. It's not working well tonight. Having some connection issues out here. But we'll continue to keep you guys monitored on it as the game goes on. Claire gets set to deliver the first pitch, playing in his 5th game of the season as a pitcher for the Angels. Also seen him make 1 appearance this season as a courtesy runner where he had a run and a stolen base. This one popped up by Sparks, tracked down by the 3rd baseman Tiedemann, and he has the catch for out number 1. Trent Baker now up to the plate.
Now batting. The left fielder, number 2, Trent Baker.
He's had 2 balls hit in play so far tonight. His last one was the one that led to the final out of the first inning because of a fielder's choice. He'll leave the first pitch in the dirt for ball number 1. Baker enters this game with a .544 slugging percentage on the year and a .942 OPS. Still the team leader in RBIs with 28 as he tries to chase a spot on the leaderboard. Count now 1-1 as that one caught the inside part of the plate. Still just one out for the Angels. The pitch on the way. This one's hit high in the air, deep into left center field. Both Biggins and Harbison will run back for it. They're at the wall. He jumps up, and it goes over the fence. The third home run of the inning for the Hayes Larks. Trent Baker has number 5 on the year. (16-0) is the score here in the top of the second inning, as Baker brings himself home as well as C.J. Reed and Caleb Duncan. And we're going to see another meeting here for the Angels, trying to get out number 2 here in the top of the second inning as they trail the Larks 16-0. We'll be back in just a minute, or actually, never mind. They already finished the mound meeting. But now for the Larks, they are back to their leadoff batter here in the second inning. That was Jackson Babcock, who reached on an E3
Now batting
and then scored the 9th run of the game.
baseman, number 5, Jackson Babcock.
First pitch on the way, outside for ball number 1. Jackson Babcock from League City, Texas, played his freshman season at Colorado School of Mines, just 40 minutes away from here. He grounds this one over to the first baseman. There is out number 2. The Angels looking to retire the side. They've now given up 8 runs each in the first 2 innings to the Larks. Garrett Gruhl up to bat. He has 2 runs and 2 trips around the base path. First one was a single. The other one was a 3-0 walk. First pitch finds the low part of the plate to make the count 0-1. And with the Larks scoring 16 runs now, they have now matched the number of games with double-digit runs from last season. They did so 11 times last year. They had 10 entering tonight, and they've matched it in just the first month of the season, because tomorrow, while they have 4th of July off, that'll officially mark a month ago that they played their first game down in Dodge City on June 4th. Oh and 2 on the way. Just misses on the outside. Brab tried to frame it. The count is 1-2. Claire looking for his 9th strikeout of the season. He delivers the pitch. And this one's fouled into the netting. Count stays 1-2. Gruhl looking to keep his numbers up as the batting average leader and the on-base percentage leader. Down low and inside, they'll say that it just missed the zone. Gruhl's fighting back. The count now 2-2. Claire comes set. Brab wants the pitch low. He gets it there, and that'll be out number 3. The Larks add 8 more runs and 3 home runs in that inning alone. They lead the Angels 16-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. Larks add 8 more runs in the second inning on just 4 hits and another error committed by the Angels. And again, they leave 0 runners on base. Nolan Wilson is back on the mound as David Brabb comes up to the plate next. Larks had 3 home runs in the top of the second inning, coming from Dylan LaRue, Tabor Stokes, and Trent Baker. And Lindsey Corley, thank you for reminding me that tonight is Trent Baker's birthday, and that is a perfect way right there to celebrate it. He's turning 22 tonight, so happy birthday to Trent Baker. It's a 1-0 count to David Brabb as we start the bottom half of the second inning. Almost an hour into tonight's game. Brabb gets ahead now 2-0 against Nolan Wilson. Brabb, a freshman catcher from Castle Pines, Colorado. Another Angels player from UC Colorado Springs. Count is now 3-0. Brabb enters this game as the team hits leader of 21 and 6 in the last 3 games. He ducks out of the way, and he will walk on 4 balls.
Now making his way to the plate, the designated hitter.
Now up to bat next is the designated hitter for the Gameday Angels. It is Owen Best. This guy is the veteran on the Gameday Angels team. They have 3 players that are in their at least their third season. He is the only player on this team that is in his 5th season with the Gameday Angels after playing his senior season this last year in Minnesota with St. John's at the Division III level. He's played in 100 games in 3 seasons with the Johnnies with a .307 career batting average. He'll foul the next pitch off. He's now down 0-2. And something funny about Owen Best that I noticed is that he started his career for his freshman season at the D3 level with St. Thomas, who is St. John's rival. They are now playing Division I baseball as they made the change through realignment to the Summit League. But he just wrapped up his senior season with the Johnnies, now is playing in his 6th game of the year with the Gameday Angels. The count is 1-2, no outs. Runner at first base is David Brabb. That one takes a bounce. The count now 2-2. The last 3 batters in the order will be up next for the Angels. Kyle Hubert batting 7th is on deck. Cliff Goldie is in the hole. Fly ball deep into center field, going back for it, Caleb Duncan. Goes in front of the wall, and there is the first out of the inning.
Now making his way to the plate, the right fielder.
Right fielder Kyle Hubert is up next in line.
Kyle Hubert.
Freshman from Woodlands, Texas, that played this last season with the 2025 JUCO National Champions Salt Lake Community College Bruins. Wilson's first pitch breaks down in the zone and finds it for an 0-1 count. Hubert now down 0-2. Looking to avoid being the second batter in this game to be struck out. Something that we mentioned when the Angels were down in Hayes, they struggled with early on in the season. But they've picked it up back recently. This one, a swing and a miss down in the dirt, and it's out number 2. Kyle Hubert swings and misses on an 0-2 count.
The second baseman, number 17, Cliff Goldie.
Now up to bat is number 17, Cliff Goldie. Half-hearted swing. He holds it back enough. It rolls away. LaRue picks it up, and David Brabb moves over to second base on the pass ball. 1-0 the count with 2 outs. The Larks ahead 16-0, scoring 8 runs each in the first 2 innings. Again, our scoreboard is the app that we use for our scoreboard is having some issues tonight, so that's why it's not displayed. But either way, the count is 1-1 to Goldie. Sophomore from Aurora, Colorado. Ties the count up 2-1 as he leaves that one on the outside. In his second season with the Gameday Angels, he leads the team in on-base percentage right now with .500. Has also hit in 7 straight games and scored in 7 of his last 8. He'll get ahead 3-1 as that one misses the zone from Nolan Wilson, looking for his 3rd strikeout here. Has 1 in each inning. This one a line drive, and it goes past Babcock. That one will be listed as a hit because of how hard it was. And the Angels have their first run of the game as David Brabb scores all the way from second.
Now batting the 3rd baseman, number 2, Tyler Tiedemann.
So Tyler Tiedemann is now up to bat, the final batter in the order for the Angels. Redshirt freshman from Las Vegas, Nevada. Starts with a 1-0 count. He played 3 games this season for his redshirt freshman season at college. He actually played where we were at yesterday at Regis. Enters this game with 5 hits in 12 games. He works with a 1-1 count against Nolan Wilson. That one takes a bounce in the dirt. LaRue finds it, and the count is tied up. Swing and a miss, and there's 2 strikes as Wilson able to use his curveball and get it into the zone. Looking for his 2nd strikeout of the inning. The pitch on the way. Finds the zone, and there is strikeout for the 3rd out. 1 run scored that inning by the Gameday Angels, but the Larks still hold a comfortable lead. They lead 16-1 going into the top of the 3rd inning.
Number 26.
As we start the top of the 3rd inning, another change is going to be made on the mound for the Gameday Angels after 1 inning of relief for Christian Clare and a broken bat there by Dylan LaRue. Out number 1 is recorded. With one away, Thomas Lissy is up next to bat. The new pitcher into the game now for the Gameday Angels is number 77, Shane Lejeune Deakidis.
The third baseman, number 15, Thomas Lissy.
Larks lead at 16-1 after one run was scored in the last inning by the Angels. Still trying to work on the scoreboard issue right now, but I'll be sure to say the score more often tonight. 1-0 count for Lissy, swings and misses for strike number 1. He's gotten on base twice tonight through a walk and has also reached on an error. That was one where he would have been out, but the first baseman reached out too far to try to make the play and slid off the bag. In his recent appearance, he was walked on a full count, where it was a 9-pitch at-bat. 1-2 on the way, just misses down low. That's ball number 2. Next pitch fouled out of play. Count stays at 2-2 for Thomas Lissy. And he'll take a swing at this one, and it misses for out number 2. Angels look for a 3-up, 3-down inning right here after a rough start.
Now batting.
Tabor Stokes is up to bat next.
Number 6, Tabor Stokes.
He had the second home run of tonight's game and the second home run of the second inning. This was a 2-run home run that brought home Thomas Lissy. It's a 1-0 count from Shane Lejeune Deakidis, the junior from Highlands Ranch, Colorado. He's made 7 career appearances at Webster University, 5 of which came in 2024, along with 1 start. Playing in his 8th game of the season, he's working on a 1-1 count against Tabor Stokes. Delivers the pitch, and it ties the count up with ball number 2. Stokes gets ahead 3-1 as that one misses on the inside. He'll take a swing. This one goes back into the netting and makes the count full. We've already seen Stokes get 2 hits tonight, giving him now 9 multi-hit games on the season, and he also has 2 runs, which gives him 9 in his last 4. Full count on the way. This one a line drive into right field, and Hubert runs after it and makes the catch for out number 3. Angels able to go 3-up, 3-down against the Larks, still trailing by a score of 16-1. As we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning, the Angels will be back to the top of their order. Nolan Wilson goes back to the mound as we start the bottom half of the third inning. Larks still ahead on the Angels, 16-1. After the Angels were able to get their first 3-up, 3-down inning of the night after giving up 8 runs each in the first 2 innings. Nolan Wilson goes back up against the top of the order with Grant Biggins, the left fielder who had a hit, but would be left stranded at second as 3 outs followed in the first inning. Next pitch misses down low for ball number 1 to Biggins. Senior from Augustana College and is from Parker, Colorado. He will get down 1-2. He started his college baseball career just about 2 hours west of Hayes down in Colby Community College, where he had a .258 average. And there he strikes out looking. That is the 4th strikeout of the night for Nolan Wilson, with 1 away here in the bottom of the third inning.
The shortstop, number 12, Isai
Out to bat another Parker, Colorado native. Issei Santaella starts in the count 1-0 as LaRue wanted an appeal from the field umpire. Santaella was struck out in his first appearance, now working on a 1-1 count. He's got 17 hits on the year, but after his first appearance, he's now been struck out 20 times this season. Something we've mentioned in the first game that the Angels have struggled with, but they've picked up in the recent games. They have 7 batters with more strikeouts than hits, but they enter this game with the same number of strikeouts and hits compared to what they had at the end of the series down in Larks Park. Count is 3-1. Wilson makes it full as he delivers that one down the middle, and Santaella watches it go by. This one will bounce away from him into the netting. There is ball number 4. One runner on for the Angels with 1 out here in the bottom of the third. As the next batter up is number 25, James Harbison. Center fielder grounded out to Thomas Lissy in the first inning, starting with an 0-1 count. Sophomore from UC Colorado Springs, now down 0-2 as he fouls the next pitch out of play. He previously played at Northeastern Junior College, where he was a second-team all-conference selection. Fouls this one back over the press box, keeping the count at 0-2. Santaella will take a lead off first base. Wilson delivers. This one's popped up. I don't know if that's heading towards me. It looks like it's going to stay in the infield. But Dylan LaRue makes the catch, and there's 2 away. This is my first game this season where I'm not sitting in a press box, so just in case there, I had to get ready to protect our equipment. Either way, LaRue makes the catch. There is 2 away, and Tyler Jenrich is now up to bat. I'll foul this one back for strike number 1. Jenrich was the final out of the first inning, trying to avoid being the final out of the third inning as well. Originally from Colorado Springs, played his high school days at Pine Creek. Had a .517 batting average with 30 hits and 5 home runs. He's now down 0-2. Wilson looks for his 5th strikeout, doesn't get it quite yet. There is ball number 1. LaRue comes out of his stance a little bit, pitch on the way, a left up high. It's a swing and a miss for Tyler Jenrich, and there is the 5th strikeout of the game for Nolan Wilson. The Angels get a runner on in the bottom of the third. Issei Santaella was walked on a full count. He is left stranded at first base. And now we go to the top of the fourth inning. Larks still ahead on the Angels 16-1.
Off for the Larks.
We're an hour and 13 minutes into tonight's game as we start the top half of the fourth inning. Larks still ahead on the Angels 16-1 after facing just 4 batters in the bottom half of the third inning. C.J. Reed, the final batter in the order for the Larks, will lead off the inning, fouling off the first pitch, and the count starts off 0-1. In my scorebook, I'm having to use the 6th inning slot as the 4th inning tonight because of the start that the Larks had in the first 2 innings. They sent 11 batters up to the plate in the first inning, 10 in the second. And now C.J. Reed up to bat, working with a 1-1 count in his 3rd appearance of the night. He has a single and a walk. And he's now ahead 2-1. This one goes high or way outside. Count is now 3-1 to C.J. Reed. Facing off still against the relief pitcher, Shane Lejeune-Deakitis, the junior from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, playing in his 8th game of the season. There is strike number 2, and now C.J. Reed will work on a full count for his 2nd straight at-bat. Trying to get walked once again. And this one, I think that one actually hit Reed, so either way, he's going to go down to first base. And the Larks are now back to the top of their order with Caleb Duncan.
Number 12, Caleb Duncan.
Duncan with 2 hits so far in tonight's game. He has a single and a double. He also had 1 appearance where he grounded out but brought home an RBI. It is an 0-1 count to the sophomore from Wichita State. And he has to duck down for this next one. Reed will run over to second base, and Duncan will work with a runner in scoring position. Diakidis looks back at second base. Pitch on the way. There's a ground ball over to the second baseman, Goldie. There is out number 1 as C.J. Reed runs over to third base. With 1 away, Lane Sparks is now out to bat.
The right fielder, number 8.
2 for 3 in tonight's game.
Sparks.
2 base hits and an RBI, as well as a run scored for the sophomore from Brenham, Texas. Is committed to Lamar for next season. He's now ahead in the count 1-0 to start. He has 9 multi-hit games on the season because of his 2 base hits tonight. There is the first strike from Shane Lejeune Diakidis. Brab wants the next pitch outside. Sparks takes a swing at it. It goes over the dugout or over the bullpen of the Angels, and the count is 1-2. They do have some guys currently warming up. It's a little bit tough to see because the Angels' dugout is in the way. Should expect them to save arms, but we'll see how the rest of the game goes. As Lane Sparks swings and misses, there's now 2 away. And Trent Baker is up next.
Now batting.
Lejeune Diakidis is the 3rd pitcher that the Angels have sent up to the plate tonight, or to the mound tonight. Just like the Larks, they will have the 4th of July off tomorrow before they play each other once again, and then the Larks will head back to Hayes for 1 game against the Newton Rebels, who they met in their 2nd game of the season, and they will play their final road game the next day on the 8th against the Kansas Cannons down in Augusta. One 0 on the way to Baker. Left up high for ball number 2. Baker has put the ball in play all 3 of his appearances tonight, including the 3-run home run. Baker now gets ahead 3-0. Looking to get on base for the 2nd time in tonight's game. As tonight he's celebrating his 22nd birthday. And he walks on 4 balls. Larks runners will occupy the corners. C.J. Reed at 3rd, Trent Baker at first base.
Now batting.
Jackson Babcock is the next batter up.
5, Jackson Babcock.
Played this last season just 40 minutes away from here in Parker, in Golden, Colorado, with Colorado School of Mines. Last night he played on one of his conference rivals' fields with the Regis Rangers. He went 5 for 5 in last night's game. He gets another hit right there, bringing home C.J. Reed for the 17th run of tonight's game and moving Trent Baker over to 2nd. Babcock's 22nd RBI on the season, as the designated hitter Garrett Gruhl is up next.
Number 22, Garrett Gruhl.
Larks have scored in 3 of the 4 innings tonight. As Gruhl is up to the plate. This one will go high in the air, deep into right field. It's going to land off the wall at the 312 mark in the corner of right field. Gruhl goes to 2nd base, and Trent Baker crosses home. (18-1) is the Larks lead as Garrett Gruhl has his first RBI of the night.
Now batting the catcher,
and 5th of the season.
26, Dylan LaRue.
Jackson Babcock is over at 3rd base. Count is now 1-0. Pitch goes outside. Babcock slides back over to third base. Count is now 2-0. Dylan LaRue having another strong performance tonight. 5 RBIs on the night. He's tied in the count now 2-1 as he fouls that one off. His first appearance, he had a 2 RBI double. He's also had a 3-run home run tonight, which was the first home run of the game. As the Larks work with an 18-1 lead. He fouls this one off the netting, and there's now 2 strikes in the count. Lejunde Akidis looking for the 3rd out. And this one's a hard hit ball deep into right field, but that one looks like it's going to go foul, and it is. That one was a hard hit ball, but LaRue's still working on a 2-2 count. All the cars tonight are parked in the outfield. That one might have given the Angels their own parking lot of doom moment, but LaRue fouls another one back, keeping the count 2-2. Looks like we're having some issues right now with our video connectivity. We're going to continue to work on that as the game goes on, but on a 2-2 count there, Dylan LaRue hits a line drive into the glove of the first baseman Tyler Jenrich to retire the side. But the Larks add 2 more runs from Trent Baker and C.J. Reed in that inning. And going into the bottom of the 4th, they lead the Angels 18-1. Nolan Wilson is back to the mound as we start the bottom half of the 4th inning. David Brab is the leadoff batter, starting off with an 0-1 count against Wilson. We're currently working on the situation right now, having some lag issues. Had some connection troubles out here in Parker before. This is what I was warned about before we came here. But we'll continue to work on it throughout the remainder of the game. It's a 1-2 count now to David Brab, the catcher. Still facing off against Nolan Wilson. Larks don't currently have anybody warming up in the bullpen, so it looks like they're going to try to keep Wilson in for as long as possible to save some arms. And he gets back-to-back strikeouts right there for the first out of the 4th inning.
Now making his way to the plate, the designated hitter, number 27, Owen Best.
Next up to bat is Owen Best, the designated hitter. He had a fly out to center field in his first appearance. foul this one into the Larks dugout. And the count starts off 0-1. Owen Best, a fifth-year player for the Gameday Angels. Just finished his senior season at the D3 level with St. John's down in Minnesota. He works on a 1-1 count. And this one, a hard hit ball deep into right field. Sparks will run back for it, and it's gone. A solo home run for Owen Best as he gets his first home run of the season. And the home crowd here for the Gameday Angels making some noise despite trailing by 16. Owen Best, the veteran of this team, gets the home run. And now to bat is Kyle Hubert.
Now batting the right fielder, number 30, Kyle Hubert.
Let's see what Hubert does right here after striking out swinging in his first appearance. He hits a ground ball fielded by Tabor Stokes. Gives it over to now Paul Smith playing first base, and that is out number 2.
Now making his way to the plate, the second baseman.
I can see Jackson Babcock now actually in the bullpen, so I wonder if that's why the Larks made the change to have Paul Smith over at first base. We'll see if this might be Nolan Wilson's last inning and they can get some experience for Jackson Babcock, who's made a couple appearances this season on the mound. The count is 0-1 to Cliff Goldie. The Aurora, Colorado native, now 1-1 in the count. He's had a hit in 7 straight games, looking for his second of the night right here. So now he has 8 straight games with a hit. It's a 2-1 count against Nolan Wilson. This one will stay fair, then roll foul as it makes the count 2-2 to Goldie. Wilson delivers the pitch, takes a bounce in the dirt, and it's a full count for Cliff Goldie. Payoff pitch from Wilson finds the low corner of the zone for out number 3. Nolan Wilson gets 2 strikeouts in the 4th inning, but the Angels get their second run of the game from a solo home run by the fifth year veteran Owen Best. Going into the top of the 5th inning, the Larks ahead of the Angels 18-2. Going into the top of the 5th inning, the Gameday Angels will make their 3rd change on the mound tonight as Shane Lejeune-Deakidis exits after 2 innings of work tonight. The new pitcher into the game is another pitcher from right here in Parker, Colorado. It's the freshman Alec Witzel from Augustana College that played for their JV team, making his 6th appearance of the season. The count is 1-0 to Thomas Lissy, with Tabor Stokes on deck and C.J. Reed in the hole. Lissy gets ahead 2-0. Lissy's 0 for 1 tonight. He's gotten on base twice, though. One was by an error, the other was by a walk. He's now tied in the count 2-1. He'll put this one in play, and it goes foul to make the count 2-2. Almost snagged by the Larks' first base coach, Ben Tinius. But now Lissy will have to try and fight back right here. Larks still ahead 18-2, scored 2 runs in the previous inning from C.J. Reed and Trent Baker, thanks to RBIs by Jackson Babcock and Garrett Gruhl. Lissy will now work with a full count for the 2nd time tonight as he leaves that one outside. Witzel kicks and deals, and Lissy leaves it on the outside for ball number 4. He's got his 2nd walk of tonight's game as Tabor Stokes comes up to the plate.
Now batting.
So Tabor Stokes is batting next.
6.
And we'll take this opportunity to reveal tonight's trivia question for those that want to play along tonight. I decided to do this one because we're in Parker, Colorado, and that's the highest elevation that the Larks will play at this season. The question is, what is the difference in elevation between Parker, Colorado, and Hays, Kansas? Hays sits in an elevation about 2,000 feet. I rounded this answer up, so it's to whoever has the closest guess. 1-0 count to start for Tabor Stokes. He has 4 RBIs tonight, a single and a 2-run home run. He'll leave the next pitch on the outside for ball number 2. Waiting for the right pitch right here to send another one to the fences. They have a wooden fence in the outfield here at Double Angel Field. As he fouls that one back, the count's 2-1. I forget which player said this, but coming in, they said the outfield reminded them of the old baseball of the old video game Backyard Baseball, and it definitely does have some similarities when you look at it in person. Ground ball fielded by the 3rd baseman Tiedemann. Tries to turn the double play, and this one goes way over the head of Genrich. As a runner gets on for the Larks, Lissy is out at 2nd, and there's one away.
Now batting.
C.J. Reed now up to the plate next.
Baseman, number 1, C.J. Reed.
He's gotten on base 3 times tonight. He got on base 3 times yesterday. All of his hits in last night's game against Colorado were extra base hits. He had 2 doubles and a triple. Tonight he has a single, a walk, and he was hit by a pitch on a full count back in the 4th inning. The 0-1 on the way from Witzel is left down in the dirt on the outside of the plate for ball number 1. Last night was an earlier start time for the Larks compared to what they're used to. It was because the baseball field at Regis University doesn't have any lights, as this one takes a hard bounce off the mound. It goes over the head of Santaella, and sliding in safely to 3rd is Tabor Stokes. C.J. Reed's 6 multi-hit games on the season, and the Larks are back to the top of their order with Caleb Duncan coming up to the plate.
The center fielder, number 12, Caleb Duncan.
With one out, the pitch on the way. And it starts the count 1-0 to Caleb Duncan. Again, for the people that want to play along with trivia tonight, the question is, what is the difference in elevation between Parker, Colorado and Hays, Kansas? This question was chosen because Parker is the highest elevation that the Larks will play at this season. It's rounded up to the nearest hundredth, so we'll see who has the closest guess. That one almost clipped Duncan on the inside part of the plate. He's now faced with a 2-1 count. He has 2 runs tonight. Both of those he got on base from hits, 1 double, 1 single. He'll leave that one down low for ball number 3. We've also seen Duncan get a stolen base tonight, giving him now 6 on the season. Has yet to be caught stealing. Three and 1 on the way. Curves into the zone for strike number 2. Duncan thought that was ball number 4. Larks dugout told him not to worry about it. We'd rather get a hit. But either way, there is ball 4 as Duncan's on base for the 3rd time tonight.
Now batting the right fielder.
The Larks will have the bases loaded as Lane Sparks is up next to bat.
Sparks.
Tabor Stokes is at 3rd, CJ Reed is at 2nd, and Caleb Duncan is at 1st. Sparks takes a hard swing at this one deep into right field. Hubert running back for it. He is at the wall, and it's gone. A grand slam for Lane Sparks. Gives the Larks a 22-2 lead on the Gameday Angels. Four home runs on the night for the Hays Larks as Lane Sparks crosses the plate, huddles up with the 3 runners he brings home. And the Larks have a new high for runs in a season. The previous one was set just a few nights ago with the 20 runs that they scored against the Dodge City A's.
The left fielder, number 2, Trent Baker.
Trent Baker, who had a home run of his own earlier tonight, is now up to bat. And he got clipped on that one. He's going to occupy first base.
Now batting the first baseman, number 25, Paul Smith.
With 1 out, Jackson Babcock is back up to the plate working with Trent Baker at first base. Count starts off 1-0, or correction, it's actually Paul Smith now at the plate. This one fouled back out of play for the first strike. Paul Smith actually came in the previous inning to play first base for Jackson Babcock, which makes me believe he's probably going to be put in as the relief pitcher for Nolan Wilson. Going into this 5th inning, with the lead that the Larks have, they can save some arms and get experience for some of these other guys. We've seen Jackson Babcock on the mound 2 times this season, and he's only gone for a total of 3 innings. Two and 2 on the way. Makes the count full as Smith leads it on the outside. He was in last night's game as a courtesy runner for Lorenzo Rios. Looking to get on base right here. And he's walked for the 9th time this season. That moves Trent Baker over to second base as Paul Smith will stand over at first. And Garrett Gruel's back up to the plate for the 5th time in 5 innings. And now we'll see the Angels coach come up to the mound. We'll step away for just a moment as they talk things over, and I'll pull up the trivia question once again for the people that want to answer it. So you all still have time to put your guesses into the live chat for if you want to play along with trivia. The answer will be revealed in the bottom of the 5th inning. We're currently still in the top of the 5th with 1 out. Larks with their biggest lead of the season, ahead of the Gameday Angels 22-2. They've scored 4 runs this inning thanks to a grand slam from Lane Sparks. The count is 1-0 to Garrett Gruhl. Next pitch fouled back into the net. Garrett Gruhl, the junior from Groesbeck, Texas, has scored 2 runs tonight and gotten 2 hits as well, as he works with a 1-1 count with 1 out. He's played over 75 games at the Division I level. Spent this last season at UTSA. Before that, he was at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. He is tied in the count, 2-1 on the way. Takes a bounce in the other batter's box, and that is ball 3. Dylan LaRue is the only batter this inning that hasn't come up to the plate. He is on deck. It's a 3-1 count, runners at first and second. And this one's drilled out of play, making the count 3-2. Lands in the other field here at Double Angel Field. The payoff pitch misses inside, and Gruhl is going to be walked for the 2nd time tonight. And again, the Larks have the bases loaded. And Dylan LaRue, another batter that has a home run tonight, is up to the plate.
Now batting the catcher, number 26, Dylan LaRue.
He'll take a hard hit at this one deep into right field. This one's going way out of play into the parking lot. And here at Double Angel Field, they played a car alarm sound as that one went foul. The count is 0-1. Curveball gets into the zone, and now LaRue down 0-2. Unless he grounds into a double play, the Larks will have their leadoff batter for this inning up again with Thomas Lissy. This one bounces away from Brab, and he's able to get it back in time to keep Trent Baker stranded at third. Baker's already crossed the plate twice tonight, looking to do it a 3rd time. Tonight he's added 3 more RBIs to his season totals, giving him 31 on the year, 18 away from getting on the leaderboard. Count is 1-2 as LaRue fouls that last pitch off. This will be the 5th pitch of the at-bat to Dylan LaRue, trying to fight back on a 1-2 count. Alec Witzel delivers. This one's hit into center field. Harbison runs up for it, makes a diving attempt, and the catch is made for out number 2, but because he slid, that gives Trent Baker enough time to tag third. and score for the third time tonight. Either way, that was an impressive grab there for the center fielder, James Harbison.
The third baseman, number 15.
The Larks have gone through their order once again as Thomas Lissy, who led off the inning, is back up to the plate. Whenever I go through the lineup on my scorebook, I just move over to the next inning. Here in the 5th inning, I'm currently in the 8th inning slot on my scorebook with Thomas Lissy starting with an 0-1 count. Just want a ground ball over to the second baseman. Goldie over to Jenrich. There is out number 3. The Larks add 5 more runs that inning, and it's all thanks to mainly to Lane Sparks hitting a grand slam for his 3rd home run of the season. Going into the bottom of the 5th inning, the score is Larks 23, Angels 2. As we get set to start the bottom of the 5th inning, the Larks make a change on the mound. Nolan Wilson, after 4 innings of work, sees his day come to an end, and he had another great performance. 3 hits and 2 runs and 2 walks, but he makes up for that with 7 strikeouts. And with that performance, unless something absolutely crazy happens as the Larks hold the 21-run lead, he should get his 2nd win of the season. And the new pitcher into the game for the Larks is number 29, Jordan Stribbling, the freshman from Dallas, Texas. Redshirted this last season at Oklahoma after being a top 200 recruit by Perfect Game in the class of 2024. Facing off against Tyler Tiedemann and starting with an 0-1 count. Stribbling now had 0-2, gets that one past the inside part of Tiedemann. This is just Tiedemann's 2nd appearance of the game and at the start of the 5th inning. And there's ball number 1 as it goes down low. Tiedemann entered this game with just a 139 batting average and 5 hits on the season. This is his 13th game on the year. And it's fouled back. The count stays 1-2. Stribbling gets set, delivers, swing and a miss, and there is the first out of the inning. Stribbling able to strike out Tiedemann for the 2nd time tonight as the Angels go back to the top of their order with Grant Biggins. It's now time to reveal the answer to tonight's trivia question. Again, the question was, what is the difference in elevation between Parker, Colorado and Hays, Kansas? The answer that I have is 3,900 feet. From the way I rounded, Hays sets at an elevation of 2,000 feet, and Parker, Colorado sets at an elevation of 5,900 feet. I might have rounded wrong a little bit, so I see some people in the live chat saying 3,800. I will give you guys that one as the correct answer. So we go back to action. The count is 1-1 with just one out. Count ties up 2-1 as Stribbling misses on the outside. And a big hit here by Biggins. It's going to go foul. He now has to fight back against a 2-2 count. The senior outfielder from Augustana College is 1 for 2 so far tonight at a leadoff hit and has also struck out. He will now work against a full count. This one's a fly ball into center field. Running up for it is Caleb Duncan. He'll just let that bounce in front of him. And the first runner of the inning is on for the Gameday Angels with Grant Biggins.
Now making his way to the plate, the shortstop, number 12.
Issei Santaella is the next batter up for Gameday. He is 0 for 1 tonight with a strikeout and a full count walk. Swing and a miss down low, starting the count off 0-1, working with a runner at first base, Grant Biggins. That one bounces inside for ball number 1. We're about to hit the 2-hour mark of tonight's game. So the Larks looking to get their 7th run rule win of the season. Something that they only did 5 times last year. They've done so in just the first month of the season alone. The count is 1-2 to Santaella. Against the Oklahoma Suitor, Jordan Stribbling. It's a hard ground ball rolling very slowly. It was going towards Tabor Stokes. Thomas Lissy came up instead to field it, and he throws it down to first base for out number 2.
Bang. Now batting the center fielder, number 25, James.
Grant Biggins ran over to second base with 2 away. James Harbison's up to bat. Paul Smith is still over at first base in place of Jackson Babcock. We'll see what Harbison does right here. 0 for 2 on the night, facing off against Stribbling. Starts with 1 strike in the count. LaRue comes out of his stance a little bit, wants to pitch on the inside. Goes down low for ball number 1. Biggins takes a short lead over at second. Stribbling looks back at him. He's going to focus on the batter to get the final out. The count is now 2-1. Stribbling gets set, delivers. It finds the outside part of the plate, and the count is now 2-2. Stribbling will look for his 29th strikeout of the season. Delivers, and that's a foul ball. This one's put in play. Thomas Lissy makes a jumping effort for it. It goes over his head. And runners will be at the corners for the Gameday Angels.
Now making his way to to the plate. The
That right there is one of the issues of playing on a turf infield. The ball can bounce a little higher. But either way, there's still 2 away as runners are at the corners for the Angels. Grant Biggins at third, James Harbison at first. And the 4th batter in the order up to bat is Tyler Jenrich. It's another 0 for 2 batter in the night for the Gameday Angels, starting 0-1. Jenrich has a ground out to Tabor Stokes and also a strikeout swinging back in the 3rd inning. That one misses down low, swing and a miss. Stribbling already has 1 strikeout this inning, looking for another one. He delivers, and it takes a bounce in the dirt for ball 1. He's got 19 strikeouts in his last 4 appearances. Still looking for another in this inning. The count now 2-2. Stribbling delivers, swing and a miss, and he gets his 30th strikeout of the season to retire the side in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Angels got runners to the corners, but they will leave them stranded once again. We go now to the top of the 6th inning. Larks still ahead of the Gameday Angels. The score is 23-2. We'll be back in just a moment on the Larks Network. Starting the top of the 6th inning, the Larks are ahead in from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, Joshua Weldon wearing number 88. Facing off against Tabor Stokes to start the inning after the Larks went through their order with some batters coming up to the plate for the 2nd time in an inning. For the 3rd time tonight, in the 1st inning, they had 11 batters go up to the plate. The next inning, they had 10, and in the 5th inning, in the 2nd inning, they sent up 11, and then in the 5th inning, they sent up 10. Tabor Stokes starts with a 1-1 count against Joshua Weldon in his 6th appearance of the season. He's been used as a relief pitcher this entire season. Played his freshman season at Clark University. And it's now a 1-2 count. Weldon just pitched a 1/3 of an inning this season in his lone appearance. We'll probably see him pitch these final 2 innings for the Angels, as it's looking like the Larks are going to have another run rule win. For Weldon, he hasn't pitched more than 1 inning since his debut. The 1-2 on the way to Stokes. He swings and misses, and there's out number 1. Next up is Stokes' college teammate C.J. Reed. He's gotten on base 4 times tonight and scored 4 times tonight.
Number 1, CJ
He has
Reed.
2 hits, a walk, and he was hit by a pitch on a full. He stays alive as that's ball number 2. Reed pops this one back out of play, foul. Count stays 2-2. It'll be the 6th pitch of the at-bat up next. Ground ball goes past the third baseman, and Reed gets on. The left fielder Biggins throws it in, and the Larks will go back to the top of their order with Caleb Duncan.
Back to the top of the order. The center fielder, number 12, Caleb Duncan.
Looks like we'll try to work on that right now, but the count is 1-0 to Caleb Duncan. And this one, a pitcher, and Duncan showing off his speed, gets over to first base. So Weldon will stay on the mound after being hit in the foot by a ball from Caleb Duncan. Lane Sparks is back up to the plate. And again, we're still having some Trent Baker.
Number 21, Lorenzo Rios.
And actually, correction, the count starts off 0-1 to a new hitter into the game now for the Larks. It is Lorenzo Rios. He will take a swing at this one, and it's going to land in front of the center fielder. As Rios gets the hit, Reed will cross home plate, and Caleb Duncan will stand at third. An RBI double for Lorenzo Rios as he comes into the game as the pinch hitter for Trent Baker.
First baseman, number 25, Paul Smith.
Rios had a big day in last night's game. Was very close to hitting the cycle last night with a single, a double, and a triple. Got RBIs on each of those hits. Just couldn't quite get the home run. I'll partially take the blame on that one with the commentator jinx, because I was bringing it up while he was at the plate. But either way, Paul Smith, the other pinch hitter into the game for the Larks, who came in for Jackson Babcock, is now up to bat. It is a 1-0 count. He'll hit this one high in the air, deep into left center field. Harbison runs back for it. Do the Larks have another home run? Yes, they do. Paul Smith has the home run. And the Larks extend their lead to 26-2. Correction, the score now 27-2 as Paul Smith has the home run, his first of the season. And the Larks just putting on an absolutely incredible performance. They lead the Game Day Angels 27-2 in the top of the 6th inning. Garrett Gruhl is now up to the plate. The designated hitter is going to start with a 1-0 count off of the 3-run home run by Paul Smith that gives the Larks a 27-2 lead. That one bounces away from the catcher, now 2-0 to the UTSA Roadrunner Garrett Gruhl. That one catches the outside part of the plate. It's now a 2-1 count to Garrett Gruhl. Gruhl now working against a 2-2 count. Question in the live chat, how many home runs is that tonight? That is 5 for the Larks tonight. Believe it or not, that actually ties their season high for home runs in a game. They had 5 in their first home game against Dodge City as we get a big hit here into right field. This one almost took a bounce over the wall. So that's going to give Garrett Gruhl the opportunity to head down to third, and Andy Luton's going to tell him to stop there. He's got the triple. Gruhl's got a single, a double, and now a triple with 2 outs. And Dylan LaRue is the next batter up.
Catcher number 26, Dylan LaRue.
Weldon's pitch on the way is a line drive foul. And LaRue starts with an 0-1 count. He has 2 hits and that includes a double, a 2 RBI double, and a 3-run home run. In his previous appearance, he flew out to center field and brought home a run. That was Trent Baker for the final run of that 5th inning where the Larks scored 5. In this inning, they've scored 4, holding the 27-2 lead. LaRue works against a 1-1 count. Another one goes foul. The count 1-2 for LaRue. He'll step back into the box, get set. Weldon delivers. This one will be popped up in the infield. Santaella, the shortstop, is going to be the one that makes the catch. And that is out number 3 in the top of the 6th inning. But the Larks score once again. 4 more runs added this inning. As C.J. Reed scores, and then after that, C.J. Reed scores from an RBI double by the pinch hitter Lorenzo Rios. And 3 more runs are added as Paul Smith came in as the pinch hitter for Jackson Babcock and hits his first home run of the season. The Larks lead at 27-2 going into the bottom of the 6th inning.
number 7.
In the top of the 6th inning, the Larks scored 4 runs on 4 hits and left just 1 runner stranded, holding on to a 27-2 lead over the Gameday Angels. As Jordan Stribbling's back to the mound, facing off against David Brab, the catcher for the Angels, who is 0 for 1 tonight with a walk, a run, and a strikeout, starting with a ball to make the count 1-0. Dylan LaRue still catching for the Larks. He was the last out of that previous inning. Took him a sec to get out onto the field, so Jordan Stribbling was warming up, and the person catching the balls for him behind the plate was his pitching coach, Keith Harper, and Keith Harper was not wearing any equipment. I just wanted to share that. I thought that was a little funny. Two and 0 is the count to David Brab. Facing off against Jordan Stribbling, who had 2 strikeouts in the previous inning, which was where he came in as the relief pitcher for Nolan Wilson. Count is 3-0. He had 2 strikeouts, so Stribbling now has 30 on the season. And there, it's left in the dirt for ball 4 to David Brab.
Now batting.
Just the 7th Angel to get on base in tonight's game, as Owen Best is up next. He is 1 for 2 tonight. He's put some power on the ball in this game. Entered as the OPS leader right at 1. He starts in the count 0-1 tonight. He's flew out to Caleb Duncan at center field, and has also had a solo home run back in the 4th inning. That was where the last run was scored for the Angels. One and one on the way, and it's fouled out of play. One and 2 the count. Stribbling looking for another strikeout. And this one's drilled into center field. Duncan fields it as it took a bounce in front of him. And the Angels have runners at first and second base.
Now up to bat, the right fielder, number 30, Kyle Hubert.
The right fielder, Kyle Hubert, comes up to the plate next.
Draft day, Johnny Manziel. 5 years later, how am I the man still?
0 for 2 in tonight's game for the freshman from Woodlands, Texas. In his 17th game of the season, he'll ground this over to Thomas Lissy. Thought about running to third, instead throws over to second for C.J. Reed. And they will just get Owen Best out at second, as Kyle Hubert gets on from a fielder's choice. David Brab stands over at third base, and there's one away.
Now batting, the second baseman, number 17, Cliff Goldie.
Cliff Goldie now up to bat. He's gotten an RBI single in tonight's game and has also struck out. Count starts off 0-1. Stribbling has 2 strikeouts. Nolan Wilson had 7. Trying to continue the Larks stat trend, but that one hits Goldie on the back, and the bases are loaded.
Now making his way to the plate, the third baseman,
Tyler Tiedemann is now up to bat for the Gameday Angels.
Tyler Tiedemann.
Working with the bases loaded. He's been struck out twice tonight. Over at third is David Brab. At second is Kyle Hubert. And Cliff Goldie, who just got hit, is at first. But Jordan Stribbling trying to get one more strikeout. As I said, he has 2. Nolan Wilson has 7. If he can get one more, it would make it the 6th game in the row that the Larks pitching has 10 strikeouts in a game. Swing and a miss, starts the count off 0-1. Tiedemann was the first batter that Stribbling struck out. Count is 0-1 with 1 out. That one slides down in the inside part of the zone. Just missing, it's 1-1. Left on the inside, the count is now 2-1. Angels trailing by 25. Still going to try to put up a fight against the Larks here tonight. The Larks fans giving a show for the people back in Hayes, and also here tonight at Double Angel Field on the first base side, we actually have a pretty good number of people wearing Larks gear. I assume that it's family of some of the players, so it's really good to see them here tonight. But Stribbling delivers the 3-1. It's popped out of play, and the count is now full. With 1 away and the bases loaded for the Angels, Tiedemann down to his last strike. Larks still ahead 27-2. Payoff pitch from Stribbling. Finds the outside corner of the zone, and he has his 3rd strikeout of the night.
Now batting the left fielder, number 13.
Gameday now goes back to the top of their order. Grant Biggins up to bat. Left fielder has 2 hits tonight. Starts in the count 0-1. In tonight's game, prior to this inning, the Angels have left 5 batters stranded, trying to avoid adding 3 more. But Biggins is now down 0-2. He's been struck out once. He has 2 hits tonight, making him 2 for 3 overall. This one's hit high in the air into left field. Trent Baker runs after it, and he makes the grab for out number 3. David Brabb was at 3rd, Kyle Hubert was at 2nd, and Cliff Goldie was at 1st. They are all left stranded here in the bottom of the 6th inning. As the Larks lead at 27-2, they are 6 outs away from getting back in the win column. We will have our final inning when we come back. Going into the final inning, the Larks ahead of the Gameday Angels 27-2 as Thomas Lissy comes up to the plate. Starting in the count 0-1 against a new pitcher into the game for the Angels, which is a little bit surprising. Tonight is a non-league game, but they still have one more game to play against the Larks in this series. And they have now thrown a total of 6 pitchers in tonight's game, so it is a little bit surprising to see them go in with another one, since they've been out of the game since the second inning where the Larks had 16 runs. Lissy will sky this one into the air on a 1-1 count. And a little bit of confusion there between the second baseman and the right fielder. Lissy's going to get on, and that brings up Tabor Stokes.
Now batting number 6, Tabor Stokes.
We'll see what Stokes does right here with a runner on first base. Count starts off 0-1. And Tim, to answer your question, I was looking through Google trying to find stuff, and the RMBL doesn't have a record book. Sometimes they will keep records of leaders for players in different stat categories throughout the season. They don't have all-time records, though, so it is a little bit tough to say. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if this might be a new record. But for the Larks, this is a new season high for runs for them. One that they just set a little less than a week ago, where they beat the Dodge City A's at Larks Park 20-2. That one finds the zone, and there is the first out of the game or of the inning to Tabor Stokes. With the one away, C.J. Reed is the next batter up.
C.J. Reed.
We're already starting to see some fireworks go off in the distance. 4th of July is tomorrow. The Larks will have the day off. So will the Gameday Angels. But even though the Larks have the night off tomorrow, they won't be away from baseball. They will celebrate the 4th of July in Denver to watch the Colorado Rockies take on the Chicago White Sox at 6 o'clock local time. So that'll be a fun activity for them to do on their day off. And you could say they've earned it after this performance tonight. Two and one pitch on the way. This one goes over to the second baseman. Had a chance to do a double play, but since he bobbled it, Lissy will go over to second base, and C.J. Reed is out at first. Larks will go back to the top of their order.
Number 12,
Caleb Duncan is now up to bat. Thomas Lissy stands over at second base. This one will go foul, starting the count off 0-1. Can't remember if I said it or not, but the new pitcher into the game for the Gameday Angels is their 6th pitcher of the night. That is the high school senior that from right here in Parker at Ponderosa High School, Nick Mo Oaks. He's going to be playing at Seward County Community College next season. He was actually committed originally to Western Nebraska Community College, but on June 19th, he announced that he was flipping his commitment. And he has a 2-0 record with Gameday this season in 7 appearances as well as 3 starts. And he gets out number 3 right there against the Larks, as they will leave Thomas Lissy stranded at third with 3 outs following after that. But if the Larks can get 3 more outs, they will celebrate the win in what has been their best performance of the season. They lead 27-2 over the Gameday Angels going into the bottom of the 7th. The Larks are 3 outs away from getting back in the win column and handing Gameday their second straight loss. Issei Santaella is the batter up at the plate. And the Larks have made a change at the mound. Jordan Stribbling went 2 innings of work. And the new pitcher into the game for the Larks is number 17, Adrian Nahar, to do the final inning, starting with an 0-1 count against Issei Santaella. Next one finds the zone, now 0-2. It's Nahar's 7th time appearing on the mound this season. He's pitched 14 1/3 innings, and he gets the strikeout against his first batter as Issei Santaella watches it go by on an 0-2 count.
Now batting number 25, James Harbison.
Next batter up is James Harbison, the center fielder. Was 0 for 2 to start the game, but got a hit in his previous appearance. And he will hit this one high in the air, deep into left field. Trent Baker's at the wall. He will stop. It is a solo home run.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a solo home run for James.
3rd run of the game for the Gameday Angels. Still showing some fight despite being down so much. The score is now Larks 27, Angels 3.
Now batting number 15, Tyler.
Between both teams, that is now 7 home runs in tonight's game, which is something you should probably expect playing at 5,900 feet altitude. As this one's a ground ball fielded by Tabor Stokes on the run, throws it to Paul Smith. There's now 2 away.
Calling all my soldiers, yes. Said calling all my soldiers, yes.
Now batting
The catcher, David Brab, comes up to the plate with 2 outs. He's been struck out once. Other than that, he's gotten on base twice through 2 walks. The freshman from Castle Pines, Colorado, will take a swing at this one. It rolls over to Tabor Stokes. He fields it cleanly, throws it over to Paul Smith, and there is out number 3. The Larks win it tonight by a final score of 27-3. In a dominant performance, bouncing back from their loss last night against the Colorado Rough Riders. They scored the first 16 runs of tonight's game and never looked back. They had some strong performances. Caleb Duncan had 4 runs tonight. Lane Sparks had a grand slam tonight, giving him a total of 5 RBIs in tonight's game. Trent Baker had a 3-run home run as well, extending his home run streak. Lorenzo Rios came in and had an RBI double and a run. Paul Smith had a 3-run home run as well. And we'd also see Garrett Gruhl get on base 5 times tonight. Dylan LaRue finished with 6 RBIs tonight, which included a 2 RBI double and a 3-run home run. And then we saw Thomas Lissy score 2 runs, as well as Tabor Stokes with 3 and a 2-run home run. And C.J. Reed got on base in his first 5 appearances and scores 5 runs tonight. And on the pitching side, Nolan Wilson made the start for the first 4 innings and was able to get 7 strikeouts, only allowing 3 hits and 2 runs. And Jordan Stribbling added 3 of his own. And the Larks finished with 11 strikeouts overall pitching and only 3 runs allowed in tonight's game. And they get the win by a final score of 27-3 as they improved to 16-4-1 on the year, and the Angels dropped to 8-10. Tonight was a non-league game, so the Larks still are 11-4 in RMBL play. But when they return to action in 2 nights, they will be back here at Double Angel Field to take on the Angels in an RMBL game. And that game will start at 6 o'clock local time, so it'll be 7 o'clock back in Hayes. And we will bring you the coverage of that game. So we want to thank you all for tuning in tonight, and we also thank you for bearing with us for our connection issues tonight, and also no scoreboard tonight. We'll try to have that fixed for the next game, but thank you all for tuning into tonight's game. And I'm Hank Corsair saying good night from Double Angel Field in Parker, Colorado. And from all of us here at the Hayes Larks, we hope you all have a happy 4th of July.